Greetings to you, my friends, and Yuba Tuba Doo. Thank you for joining on this episode of Bayou Gull Guy. I am Bayou Gull Guy, as you can see, from the beautiful Gulf of America, and celebrating another awesome week of 7 months of Christmas every day. And as you can see here, it is a typical August day on the bayou, on the beautiful Gulf of America, as the rain has just been relentless today and quite the downpour. So since this is a little tube, I'm going to try to recover my pans out there without getting drenched, and see if we can do some inside panning here, since I'll just be kind of dipping it out, since it's the Yuba dirt with the fine gold, and from Vendetta Prospecting. Did I throw that in? Yes, it's Yuba Tuba Doo, because we have the Yuba Tuba Gold tube. So, yeah. There, I was out. Gizmo insisted on going out. I think about the front, right as a big bolt crashed, and he was not enthusiastic about it. Where are you, baby boy? No, he does not like the thunder. Neither do the kids. They've been a little on edge, haven't they? That's my sweethearts. So, yeah, we're gonna see if we can get some. What? You don't want to go out? Like I said, we're gonna see if we can get this done. Y'all know I don't do anything inside, but it's Thursday and I'm running out of time. So I've got a huge job coming up next week. Another floor job, continuation from that bedroom I did where the water pipe snapped on me from around Thanksgiving, before Christmas last year. And they've stepped through the floor and they've got a board over that right now. So I'm gonna have to do basically a major cutout. So that's probably not gonna. Y'all are probably gonna be seeing another repair video next week on this. But this week, let's see what we get on our interior panning here. I brought out some treats, calm everybody down. We just had a major bolt hit right near the house. It shook the house. So, yeah, that calms him down. Gizmo's got him a little bone. Yes, he's got a little bone. And the rest of them having some treats. So, but yeah, man, it sounded like it hit right above us with a very loud crack, and the house shuddered. So let's check out our Tuba Yuba vial here. When I gave up the title, it was Tuba Yuba Doo, for like Fred Flintstone's Yabba Dabba Doo. But then I was like, well, it also could be Scooby Dooby Doo, but Hanna-Barbera. But we're going with Tuba Yuba Doo, like Fred Flintstone, with our 1/2 gram, and this is artisanal small batch from his lower South Yuba River trip this year in July. And what's wrong? And we got our Trump knife there. Open up our vial. He only had 18 of these that he made up with his concentrates from the river, and then he added a 1/2 gram of very fine gold. He says in the description there that it is the black sands make it difficult, but there are not too much of those in this. So there's our material in the tube. Very cool. So I've got my jet dry in the pan, in the water. So we're just going to do this a little bit at a time. And I need something safe that I can prop this up in. I'm not jacking with the, what do you call it, microphones this week. All right, so we'll prop it up over there on the side since we have some material out of it. And actually, mostly I'm not even planning on panning this as much as just rinsing it down. I really need to be doing this outside or maybe repositioning over here. Great shot of the sink. Or I'm more, that's better. Oh, my camera light.
showing up right there, it looks like already. I'd say we probably need to pan out some of that. We'll go with the, we don't have the riffles, but we've already kind of washed that down, so I'm not worried about losing anything out of that. Get it out of the way though. But yeah, this is some specialty stuff, and there may be some gold out of the concentrate that he made this up with, as well as the half gram he added. Let's see, I guess I should get it where you can see better. Actually, the rain paused out there. We're in a blue spot, but more is coming, so I really didn't want to. And I got water standing at the gold station. I'd be standing and still hadn't drained off yet. I still have 2 inches of water out there. I don't know. It looks like quite a, I don't know how much of that's magnetic. I didn't want to, if y'all seen before, if you put the magnet on this stuff, some of it clumps together. It holds the magnetic charge with itself, and you'll get these long strings of black sand that clump together the gold. And when you're dealing with this fine gold like we're looking for on this, that can be a real issue, because the finer the gold, the more likely you are to have it carry out with the black sand, which sounds like it would be obvious, but whenever it's clumping together like that from hitting it with a magnet, it makes it much worse. Or I should say much more difficult to try to separate it out. But yeah, we are getting some very tiny, probably not getting a good shot of it with the way the light is. That is some fine gold. If I get it to zoom in and focus. Yeah, that is pretty cool. That was my introduction to fine gold, was with his caliche, something else, but it was one of his early bags, the first bag I ever got from him, 100% bag, and it was super fine gold. I'd gotten some fine gold from Miners Depot, but nothing like that he had in that stuff. So there's our first clean out. Let me go through and check this and see if I've washed any down that I can't see in the light. I'm back. Yeah, there's what I washed down from the first the first round. So it flows very easily. Why am I having so much trouble with the zooming on this? Maybe I got too much stuff on the counter around it and the sink. But yeah, definitely got away. Some of it got away. Well, damn, that was. I went through that about 10 times or more, pulling out little bits of gold, very tiny gold. I should have a very small classifier to knock this other stuff out of the way. But I went through this one since I had dumped it out, and I was, had washed out that first part without the riffles, and I found like 6 tiny flakes that had washed out. But I was going to go out and try to get the last light, so it was a little bit brighter than in here, and my neighbor comes up and starts asking me stuff and talking about the yard and the house, and yeah, so it got dark, and I that was gone. So I brought in some additional lighting here and set up, because I just can't see between the light in the sink and the camera light's just not enough to be able to see that fine gold trapped in that material, and it washes so easy. So yeah, it was this is a woolly booger, not a quick bag to go through. Definitely not one to do if you don't have good lighting to see. Like I said, just that wash right there washed down a lot of that. Super fine. But yeah, this is this is the tough stuff. And even washing it low, I think that's gold that's washing down there. Some of that's lighter material, but some of that's some gold that's already carried. You just have to move. You're hardly moving the water at all when you're doing this. It's the usual rocking the pan, or that like you do when you're trying to move black sand. Really doesn't apply to this, because you're just creeping the water over it and then trying to carry away those finest particles with just the slightest movement. And anything other than that lifts up that gold and washes it to the side or carries it down. Once you get it around it easily, then you've got to, again, just very softly roll it back. And yeah, and then when you get the water back over it, if you're not real careful, all it takes is one time washing hard, and half of that will carry right down to the other side. Then you got to start over again. But it's a fun challenge. And if you haven't done the fine gold in a while, it takes a minute to get your feel back on it, as far as handling the wash and the hydrodynamics over it. So there we go. That's a pretty good clearing of the black sand on this stuff. And you can see I've got some that's washed over to the side. But that's looking pretty clean. So that's good. And again, you want to make sure your stem, you blow it out well away from your gold, because just the water squirting out from your tube will kick that stuff everywhere. And then blow it out, make sure that it didn't have it stick to the inside of the tube, because that fine gold certainly does. And then we'll give it a little wash around. I went much easier on this one than I did on that first one, and you can see I'm not seeing anything popping up in this one. But I used a lot less material, and I washed it a lot easier from the very start. And then I have to use my camera pretty much at the end. I've been zooming in to look for any specks that I can't really see with my light and glasses. And this one looks like we're pretty good. So, all right. Again, that's why you don't need much I'm not even sure what do we have left there. We're down about halfway on the tube there, it looks like. So I'm going to go with about the same amount again. And we'll be back. I'll work some down. All right, that's another batch cleaned out. Pretty good. I'm going to go back through the tailings a few times to double check, because I saw there was a speck. But again, another nice little strip. And it is fine. It's, well, there's the tip of the thing. So yeah, it's not a lot of gold. And then we, like I said, then we go back and swirl through and see if I got anything clinging on those edges. And I'm seeing some right there. So yeah, this will be going back through it a few more times. Slowly but surely, I'm working it down. Oh man, I was thinking about see if I can take out the magnetics on the next one to just to see how much they are. I don't want to, like I said, I want to take it out and put it back in, but it's man, I've been at this for a while for this little tube. I'm glad it's no bigger than it is, but very beautiful gold. Just tiny. It seems this stuff is actually getting finer as I get to the bottom. I think I have maybe one more pan's worth, maybe two. It's hard to tell when you're at the bottom of it, but it didn't feel very like there was too much left in there. The most time that I've spent has not been this part. This is actually the easiest part, is washing down to the bulk here. The hard part is going back through the super fine stuff that's washed down there and trying to separate it out or even see it. I'm betting there's probably some that's in here that you would almost have to have mercury to recover, because you'll never get it to wash one away from the other. It's actually smaller than the material you're trying to wash away. But very nice. Once again, you can see that beautiful color and just the tininess of it. And of course, it helps to have a good seasoned pan when you're doing this kind of material, looking for this kind of fine gold, because those little striations are what really help hold it in place. But like there, you can see I just did the swirl on the point, and you can see where when you do that, it kind of collects that fine gold. It'll wash it back, and then you can see right there it collects, and then you tap out away from that and you get some separation on it, and then you can pick up those tiny specks. But you gotta do that a lot. It does not, and you can't wash hardly anything away from that without washing half of what you've cleared. See, I just washed a bunch of it back, just barely moving the pan. So that's why this is really time consuming, and I will have a good amount of black sand I've sucked up with it to go through the snuffer, because you just pretty much have to pick it all up together when it's like that, and then try to sort it out, from the snuffer. But like they're washing that, and you can see that little cluster there that hung on. I can't wash any more than that, so I have to suck up the fine stuff that's staying with it, or risk washing half of that away again. So at least you get it all contained, and then you can go through and work on the cleaning it up so you don't have a little black sand all in it. Same thing there, you see again, that snags a cluster of it. a couple of washes and you get a few flakes, a few specks that'll clear. It's not to wash it back together, but yeah, so again, that's the that's the time consuming part of doing this. But I think we're down to our last. We'll see here. Hold on. All right, this is, I believe it should be the, yeah. That is the last little bit of our tube. And again, I'm glad it was, man, is that, see, look at that powder. I think that is pure powder that came out of the bottom. Look at that. I am going to suck that up right now before we even go any farther. And look at that in the corner. Man. You see how it kind of floated up and set back. I don't know if you picked that up or not, but it floated up and then set back down in place. And I've got jet dry in here. There we go. Check that out. That is powder. And this is how you really do this stuff. You know, if you're not trying to save up to have a shot at the end of your pan there. Let's see, just kind of shake that down and kick it over. Oh man, that is the finest stuff yet. Wow. Definitely collected there at the bottom of the tube, because that's what I've been chasing out at the bottom of each of these. As a little, look at how it keeps exposing more and more. The cats are down here. I've had one climbing up my leg. They're out doing all this. It's past dinner time. This is where I usually feed them, and they're wondering, why am I spending all this time here and no food's coming down? All right, well, man, that got a good portion of what we had there, but you can see how it is caught up in all of that dirt there, and it is going to be tough to coax the rest of that out of there. That's what's been holding in the little patch. But you can see when you try to tap it over, the black stuff taps away instead of the gold, because it is so fine. And then again, that's the seasoning on the pan helps to hold that powder. And sometimes you actually have to keep your thing down flush to suck it up, because it'll hang into those little grooves. But all right, well, now it's time to chase, because you see there I just washed over. There's another line. So I'm gonna keep working that down. There's again another little fine strip. You can barely see it, but as it washes down, and then you see the material walks right over the gold. So you pretty much just have to coax it away and then suck up what you can. But it's definitely been a challenging little tube, as you've seen. Tuba Yuba. All right, after a very long and grueling effort, it is late. let's see what we have here. And again, it takes a lot of this to make weight. So even though we have what looks like a good amount, until we'll drop a couple of drops there more. We'll use the black pan since it shows up better. Although it makes it harder for me. That's why I don't like the black pan, because what I want to see is the black sand that I want to get out of there normally. But in this case, with this super fine wispy gold, I think I need the black pan to see my dust better, and I can wash my other stuff away. It's harder to use this big one though to control the water, so I'm gonna see how well I can wash stuff down to get it clean. But check that out. That is some ultra fine powdered gold there. And you can see where it just spreads all the way down the pan. There's no tapping that stuff up hardly at all. The super fine stuff stays where it is when you're tapping it. So I guess I might do better to suck all that stuff out first, so I don't keep washing down. Or see how that gold's carried down there with it. So yeah, it's even with the jet dry, that fine stuff is tough to maneuver around. I'm thinking I've got some. I went through my tailings and did recover quite a bit more fine gold. That even though redoing the pans over and over, and you can still see that there's little bits that are hanging in the top. These are the tailings out of that. I moved to the green pan. But again, that takes a lot of that to make any weight at all, so we'll just have to see. So I'm going to clean it up a couple of times, and then we'll get in the green pan for the final clean out. But yeah, you can see it just spreads everywhere. Well, all right, after about another hour of cleaning and going through, you can see there's still a few little black specks. I just could not. I wasn't going to give up gold to lose them, so now I can see if I can get it sucked up and into the pan to dry. But very nice, very fine, cool gold. Well, there is our dried gold. Now let's see if I can get it into the paper and onto the scale without losing any. Or I was using I hate using these brushes just because gold sticks to those too, but I had to use it to get it to free up off the pan. All right, let's see. All right, let's see how we did. 0.5 gram is what we were after. Yeah, that's what I was thinking right there, 0.395. And I did go back through my tailings again when I was cleaning this out after I showed you guys the gold that was still showing up on the ring there on the top, that fine bit. And yeah, it was I tried, like I said, I tried to get a little more without getting up any black sand. So now what I'm going to do is try maybe tomorrow if I get a chance to take it out in the sun and see if I can recover a little more out of it. But like I said, it's hard getting that last tenth of the, or fifth, whatever. Whenever you're doing these fine, the same thing with the double black diamond with gold nugget sales. So this was $63 for this bag, postage paid, and we've got just short of 0.40 out of it. I'm not. There's no question the gold is in there. Mike is very good. It's probably a little bit over too, so there's probably a little more than the 1.1 or 0.11 grams left in there. But that is the challenge of getting this stuff out. Is getting all of it. He has other much more accessible golds available. This is just the challenge stuff and the fact that it was from the Yuba River. Very cool. So, all right, well, there we go. I'm not going to do an ROI on this because, again, it was a challenge thing. And you can see that for a half gram, take off for postage, and you got basically $53 material value on it. And there's more gold to be found. I've just got to get to it.
Yeah, it's my little boy. Well, all right, my friends. I thank y'all so much for once again joining me on an excellent Vendetta pay dirt. Like I said, this was a specialty. He only had 18 tubes that he made up. I'm not sure if there's any more left or not. I would imagine not. But very cool, and I'm going to have to go back and see if I can find the rest of it. So it will be an ongoing challenge. So that being said, this is Bayou Gold Guy saying thank you all so much for tuning in, supporting the channel. Thank you so much to my very loyal and devoted channel members. I appreciate every one of you guys so much, as well as all my subscribers. We just hit 500,000, 500,000 views last week. I got a notification, or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. But yeah, so thank you all so much for that. I mean, that's in the big picture of YouTube, that's nothing. But for this channel, those are hard earned because most of mine don't have more than a couple of thousand views on a video as a rule, less than 1,000. So those are hard earned, and I appreciate every one of them. Thank y'all so much. And yeah, so like I said, we're celebrating Texas has come through, and Louisiana, we are going to be picking up one ourselves. And what I've seen is that there's a possibility that what they've started in Texas, and then with the response of California, threatening all these other red states are going to start following suit, and we could pick up upwards of 20 seats before it's said and done. Whereas the Democrats have already sucked everything through their, very, very racist and illegitimate gerrymandering for all these decades. They have nothing left. There's nothing else they can add. So all their threats are meaningless, and this is what we are seeing is the demise of the Democrat Party, and that's exactly what we need to have, because while we need a two-party system, they are no longer representative of anything that's American. So they need to be eradicated and let them start from scratch. And again, they just still don't even know why they lost from Biden. They're out doing the same crap they've always done. Orange man bad, truck derangement syndrome. No. So yeah, it's going to be exciting times. And like I said, it's been Christmas every day, 7 months, and running over all of it. So yeehaw! Thank y'all again for watching. Stay tuned, because we're going to be covering all of it. And until the next time, take care of each other. Bayou Gold Guy saying thank you so much, and peace out, my friends. And as you can see, the Wonder Dog's not excited tonight. He was a little shaken by the rain today, or the thunder. Yeah.